welcome to this edition of New Day Federal Way. I'm Kathy Arndt, and today we're at Brigadoon Elementary School, where we'll be holding our first Neighborhood Connection meeting. In an effort to bring City Hall to the community, Mayor Ferrell is hosting 6 Neighborhood Connection meetings across Federal Way. These meetings are an opportunity for you to learn more about city initiatives, as well as a chance for you to ask questions and express your concern regarding your neighborhood. So as you can see, we have an exciting agenda for tonight, and the mayor's about to begin, so let's go inside. Tonight we'll see Mayor Ferrell's vision for downtown Federal Way, including the Performing Arts and Conference Center, Town Square, and a new approach to code compliance. Judge Larson will be introducing the Municipal Court and an exciting new partnership with the King County Dispute Resolution Center. Federal Way's Chief of Police, Andy Huang, will share some new initiatives coming to the police department, as well as some tips on crime prevention.
Well, welcome. My name is Jim Ferrell. I'm the mayor of Federal Way, and I really, again, appreciate all of you coming out tonight. We've got quite a full agenda. The program tonight is going to entail the following. We're going to have the welcome and introductions. We're going to talk about city programs and services. Municipal court, we've got, I'll introduce the judge in a moment, the mayor's and the council's vision, the public works department, police department presentation, and then neighborhood feedback, and we're going to talk about that. What I'd like to talk to you about next is really what the vision is by the mayor and the council in regard to the future. Downtown economic development. In our city, we own 8 acres in our downtown. The top 4, which used to be where the Toys R Us site is, which is now referred to as the proposed Performing Arts and Conference Center, is 4 of those acres. Below that, the AMC movie theater site, now referred to as the Town Square site, is a site that we are looking for mixed use, and we're going to talk about that. So what we did is we put together the Mayor's Blue Ribbon Panel, which is a number of experts in our community, financial experts, CEOs, people who look at pro formas for a living. We put together 9 people, and this is in conjunction and coordination with the council. We put them together, and these 9 people that have been a real background in finance and venue management are meeting right now at City Hall, right outside of my office, and they're going to be talking about this issue. What we thought of when we were going through this issue is that obviously, these can't be people that have taken a firmly held position one way or the other. What we wanted was true intellectual integrity, taking a look at the numbers. Like all of us, when we made the decision to either finance a home or a business or any kind of loan, you've got to make sure that you're operating on firm financial footing. All of us, your council works very hard to make and puts in many, many hours to make sure that we're spending the tax dollars, your hard-earned tax dollars, well and efficiently and wisely for the future of our community. And so I want to make sure this is very clear. The Blue Ribbon Panel is not going to say build it or don't build it. That is ultimately up to the council. And they're going to be hearing from all of you, and we're going to have a study session about this issue on April 10th at City Hall. Once the Blue Ribbon Panel rolls through its findings. What the Blue Ribbon Panel is going to do is make findings, taking a look at the 2 pro formas. And we've taken 2 pro formas and 2 analysis, and they're looking at that. They've been out to the site, they're consulting with local experts. So that's a very exciting thing. What they're going to bring is an objective financial approach to this, and then provide it to the council, and then the council and myself will make a collective decision. Okay, I want to go back. This is the schematic, and imagine how transformative something like this could be if done correctly. And so that would be the front. This is obviously looking south with a vista toward the mountain. This would be an interior view, and these are schematics. And last year the council voted or approved $1 million to essentially get us to the point of schematics. And fundraising efforts so far have raised about $600,000, and they're going to be closing in on a $1 million figure here from their projections. Town Square. This is the site just south of where the proposed Performing Arts and Conference Center is. You see this area right over here, the southeast section is, no matter what happens, it's proposed that we're going to put a park there. And we've been in communication with the council, and there's been a lot of visioning process. Just at the very, very short term, it's possible, after we take a look at some preliminary drawings that we're having drawn up right now, we could move on this as early as June to start churning up the ground on this and start what we're going to refer to as an interim park. That decision is going to be up to the council. It's a financial decision, but as mayor, it's my job to sort of set the table. The drawings are going to be brought forth, and watch for that. Because what we're really missing, and I think every one of my colleagues on the council would agree, that what we're missing is a sense of center in our community. And for too long, we haven't had activity in our downtown. We've had some businesses come, we've had some leave. But what we really need is a place where we can gather as a community and a place where we can really be proud of. We are talking about a major investment in our downtown. And I can tell you that once a project like this and or the PAC occurs, you're going to see massive investment in our community, which is going to have a ripple effect throughout the region. The idea on the northern part is about some sort of mixed-use retail, like Kent Station or that kind of concept in which we get real buy-in and investment in our downtown. Our downtown is just a gem in the making, where we're looking to make sure that we get the kind of investment that'll make us very proud of our downtown. Channel 21. How many people have ever turned on Channel 21 in Federal Way? Yeah, and thank you. And it is such a great resource. And my colleagues on the council and I have been talking for so long about doing more. They've all been talking about it. And so here's what's going on. You can see a lot of cameras here, right? Normally at a city council meeting, you wouldn't see this many city cameras. But we started this approach of a re-energized Channel 21. And what you're going to do very soon, next week, start looking on Channel 21, because you're going to see a new program called New Day Federal Way. And in New Day Federal Way, you're going to see my executive assistant, Kathy. Kathy, can you stand up, please? And so what we didn't want to do, money's tight all around. What we did not want to do is burn a bunch of money in pre-production costs and all kinds of programming issues. What Kathy's going to do in New Day Federal Way is do introductions and commentary on events that occurred. We had the Martin Luther King event just a few weeks ago. We've got this event. We've got the other neighborhood connection meetings. We've got Red, White, and Blues. So you can watch Red, White, and Blues from your home probably a week or two after it occurs. And then we're going to replace the content. We'll have the State of the City address in which I address the chamber. It's all going to be shown with a brief introduction and sort of setting up of the issues on Channel 21, so watch for that. Code compliance, I'll briefly touch on this. The strategy that's been employed so far in this city is neighbor telling on other neighbor, and really putting that piece or that enforcement prong on the shoulders of people. And I think that puts neighbors in a very difficult position. The other thing is, I think all of us would agree, everybody in this room would agree, for the most part, your home is the biggest investment you'll make, monetarily wise, that you'll ever make. And your home is your castle. And what we cannot allow is the decline of our neighborhoods. What we've got to do, we've got to enlist the support of the homeowners associations and also the people in this community. Some HOAs have simply dissolved. Some HOAs are very active. But what we need to do is empower staff and also add more staff so we can go through and take an inventory. What's planned is a whole new approach to code compliance. There are distressed properties in this community. There are locations in our city that we can do better in. And where those locations occur, we're going to start getting an inventory of those. And maybe there's a health issue or an age issue or a financial issue that people just maybe need assistance or a hand up from their neighbors. I'm sure we can all imagine or look back in our memory of people who maybe just can't get to their yard or things have just started to slip for some reason. And so the city's not going to come down hard, on those folks, unless there's just willful disobedience and we've got a bunch of junk in the front yards. And I can tell you, where there's a bunch of junk in the front yards and where it's devaluing your city, your neighborhood, we're going to start taking a much more proactive, let's just say proactive approach. Diplomatically, moving forward, but we need to come to some resolution on these because it's affecting the way our community looks. And so be watchful on that because that's something that I think is really important to make sure that we keep the value of this community.
Federal Way Municipal Court Judge David Larson and Terry Randall, Executive Director of the Dispute Resolution Center of King County, shared valuable information regarding mediation services available right here in Federal Way.
They used to call us justices of the peace. Now we're municipal court judges, district court judges. What does that mean, peace? Justices of the peace. You know, it's we keep the peace. In fact, when I teach civics at Todd Beamer, the first thing I ask them is what would happen if we didn't have courts? It'd be total chaos, right? But there's another way we can keep the peace that doesn't include judges and doesn't include courts, and that's through mediation. And we're very blessed in this community. We have an opportunity because we have an agreement with the Dispute Resolution Center of King County to conduct mediations in our court in this community. We've had it for 5 years, and it's a very important thing for us to do because we can keep the peace with ourselves. They'll not only keep the peace, they'll teach you in classes how you can keep the peace with your family and with others. They can ultimately teach you to be a mediator if you want to be a mediator. And you can participate in helping keeping the peace in our community and make our community truly a community of justice. And so what I'm going to do is, instead of spending the time talking to you about what I believe is a very important part of our life, mediation is the only way that you yourself can decide the outcome of a case, because you have to agree to the outcome. All the other forms, you're getting a judge or an arbitrator or somebody else telling you the outcome.
Good evening. I'm Terry Thompson-Randall, and I'm the Executive Director of the Dispute Resolution Center of King County, your Dispute Resolution Center. And with me here tonight is Patty Dinsmore. And Patty is Patty's our Director of Mediation and Court Services. And we're here this evening to announce a very special partnership between our nonprofit organization and the City of Federal Way. Conflict is a normal part of life. I think you'd all agree with that. It's a normal part of human relationships. And the question is, how do we deal with that? How do we find solutions to conflict? And the Dispute Resolution Center is here to help you, to explore your options and to work out solutions. Judge Larson described the process a little bit. It's basically working out a conflict with the guidance of a neutral third party. And each participant is empowered to express their position, their point of view, their perspective, but also to practice empathy and to understand where the other person is coming from, and then together work on a solution that you both agree on. Some of the types of conflicts that we can help you resolve would include family matters such as parenting plans, divorce, asset division, foreclosures, maybe disputes between a landlord and a tenant, disputes between neighbors like property lines, noise, a barking dog, business consumer issues, elder care issues. The mediation services we offer are on an affordable sliding fee scale. We want this to be a very affordable option for you. Now, the good news I bring tonight is that for many years, the Dispute Resolution Center has pretty much just offered our mediations up in North Seattle, which, let's face it, is not very convenient to you all. But thanks to Mayor Ferrell and Judge Larson, we are now able to offer mediations right here in Federal Way. Judge Larson has graciously offered the facilities at the courthouse for us to use for our mediations, and we're very, very excited about that. I also wanted to mention the trainings that we offer. We offer trainings just to help you personally learn how to deal with conflict and have difficult conversations. You might be interested in that. Or perhaps you feel a calling to become a mediator yourself. We also train professional mediators. I just wanted to end by saying that mediation really works. We know that when conflicts are resolved in the courts, the compliance rate to a court order is only about 30%. But when parties work together through mediation to resolve conflicts, the compliance rate is about 90%. And we think that's because when you're involved in coming up with a solution, you're more likely to stick to it. So thank you for welcoming us into your community. We are your Dispute Resolution Center, and we welcome you to work with us. Thank you.
Public safety. You're going to hear from our interim police chief, Andy Wong, who's going to be coming up here in just a moment. He's got 26-year law enforcement career. He's doing a fantastic job. I can tell you that as your mayor and as a former member of the council and with our council here, public safety is the #1 priority of city government. And we're looking at increasing the number of officers to get us to a staffing level that we're all comfortable with. We are very fortunate to have the addition of a police substation at the Sound Transit parking garage just, you know where the John L. Scott building is? Just across the street. We got that spot donated, 2,100 square feet donated to the city to use as that. So I'm sure the chief will talk to you a little bit about the signage that we're going to have there and the kind of availability, because we are going to invest massive amounts of money in our downtown, and we're going to ask people and investors to come. So we want to make sure that we've got the public safety piece in place for all of that to occur.
Federal Way Chief of Police Andy Huang provided up-to-date crime statistics.
Good evening, everyone. As stated earlier, my name is Andy Huang. I'm your interim Chief of Police. We are glad to be with you tonight. We look forward to sharing some information with you that we hope that you find it interesting and informative. There are two takeaways from tonight's three presenters. One is, what steps can you take to protect yourself and your family? And the second takeaway is how you can partner with us to keep your neighborhood and our community safe. Most people worry about violent crimes, somebody assaulting you, what have you. But in reality, for an average citizen, statistically, you're far more likely to be injured or killed in a traffic accident. If you get that bad phone call during the day or evening time, it's because somebody in your family's probably been involved in a traffic accident. Statistically, the chance that someone's going to hurt you is very minimal. When you look at homicide rate, homicide cases in King County, 1/3 of all homicide cases domestic violence related. Now with young people, traffic collision is the #1 cause of death, 15 to 24. Because we know traffic safety is a major problem, we just launched a Nick and Derek project. The mayor and council approved for us to launch that project, and it's really to deal with DUI and distracted driving. We respond to about 2,000 traffic accidents, 50 DUI collisions each year. So we're going to take effort to make our streets safer.
There's some really simple and easy things that we can do to sort of lower our chances of these things happening. You know, these aren't the things that you see on the news every night that might keep you out, but burglary, your car being broken into, your mail being stolen. These are the things that are most likely to happen to you on a daily basis. So some of the things we wanted to talk about was making your home a hard target. Making your home a hard target, lighting. Tonight, I want you to go home. When you walk up to your house, drive up to your house, can you see your doorways, your entrances, windows? Would you be able to see if there was someone around your front door, on the side of your house? When you get into your house, look in your backyard. Did you have a shed back there? If you thought you heard something, would you be able to see? Think about your secured doors and windows. Deadbolts. Every door that is accessible to the outside should have a deadbolt, and not just the one that probably came with the house.
And I'm going to talk very quickly about our Safe City program. This is just a great way to partner with your neighbors and the police department. This is a program that's supposed to unite the businesses and residents of the community, and it's a two-pronged program with surveillance cameras that officers can use. But the best part, the part that Lindsay and I enjoy the most, is the partnership, the virtual block watch. We have a website where block watch partners can join, or HOAs can join, and what they can do is share information. So if something does happen into your neighborhood, after you call police, whether it's 911 or not an emergency, you can log on to this site and basically post about whatever happened, a suspicious person, a burglary, and this will let your neighbors know what's going on. So I definitely encourage all the established block watches, or establish a block watch, or if you're HOA, to join in this program. It's very easy. We have handouts in the back that'll tell you how to get started on the process. It's a little bit of an arduous process right now. It's a pilot program, but we're working to streamline it and make it better and better every day. We've had this program since 2007. We originally started with the businesses, and then in 2012 we started with one of our biggest HOAs, Twin Lakes. It worked really well, and in 2013 we rolled it out to the rest of the city. We have 4 patrol sectors, and so wherever you happen to live, you'll join one of our sectors. And so I encourage everyone to sign up. And the police department also is privy to any information you put up there. So the more everyone knows, everyone is aware, the better chance we're able to prevent and solve crime activity. And this program is another tool that you can use to find out what's happening in Federal Way, all the different crimes. And this is a program that I love, that I brought to the police department. I use it, I live in unincorporated Federal Way, and King County uses it. It's great. Federal Way Police Department uploads all their crime data every day into this website. So you can look wherever you happen to live, you put in your address, and it'll show you up to 6 months of crime data. So you can see if there was a vehicle prowl, if there was a burglary. Since property crimes do tend to be what affects people every day, that's more of what you'll see. You'll also see traffic accidents, any sort of proactive policing we may do. That'll also be up there as well. But one of the great things that I like is you can sign up for alerts. So I signed up for an alert in a certain region where I happen to live, and I get alerted. I just want to be alerted every week to know what's going on. And I find it's invaluable. Where I live, there happened to be a burglary spree, and I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have crimereports.com. So for a while, I took some extra measures to keep my house more secure, and luckily, I didn't end up being a victim of a burglary, but a lot of my neighbors did. So I encourage all my neighbors and anyone in Federal Way to sign up for this site, just to kind of keep informed so you know what's going on, and it'll also reassure you that actually there's not all that much going on right around your house. So I think it's a great information tool. And here are our non-emergency number. Always call 911 if you feel that an officer needs to come out, but if maybe you're a little apprehensive about calling 911, call our non-emergency number. We don't care which number you call, we just want you to call us.
So I would tell you that, if you observe suspicious activity, give us a call. People are so reluctant. Sometimes we'll go to a burglary call, and the officer's interviewing neighbors. Yeah, I saw that guy carrying a TV on his back. I didn't think to call. So, but we hear things like that. So we don't charge you for calling 911. It doesn't go into some permanent record. It's only kept for 90 days at dispatch. So please, you're our eyes and ears. So do not hesitate calling. And we'll have a non-emergency number up here too. If you're reluctant to call 911 because you don't think it's an emergency, we have a non-emergency number that goes to the same call receiver.
Public Works Director Carrie Rowe gave an update on the status of 3 key projects happening right now in Federal Way.
My name is Carrie Rowe. I'm the Director of Parks, Public Works, and Emergency Management for the city. I'm going to provide 3 short presentations. The project that we've got here is to increase the capacity and safety of the intersection. Collision data, kind of the reason why we're doing this project, involves, it's the 3rd highest total collisions in the city at 49 collisions between the years 2010 and 2012. It's also the 6th highest intersection collision rate. The next one is the 4th highest intersection severity rate. We also rate our intersections based on severity. The improvement that are well underway with is widening Southwest 333rd Street and/or Southwest Campus Drive, it's also known as, to construct 2 double left-hand turn lanes, both east and westbound, as well as a westbound right-hand turn lane. We also will be having some access control. That's via curbing. This will be primarily as you go westerly on 336. And we'll also put a new traffic signal in near the Dairy Queen. The purpose of the Dairy Queen signal is to allow left-hand turn access both to the north and south side of that roadway. The cost of the project is $5,510,000. We expect the completion to be done in late May of 2014. Next, I'll talk about the city's asphalt overlay program. The annual street maintenance program associated with overlays is paved streets, along with upgrading any curb gutter sidewalks for American with Disabilities Act 88. So the sidewalks that are in disrepair are curbs and gutters, and or if the wheelchair ramps are not to code, those would be done at the same time we overlay the road. The available budget on an annual basis is about $1.5 million. Typically, the asphalt overlay program begins in April, as it will again this year, and we're typically done by August. Next, I want to highlight what they're called the proposed overlay list. A through G are what's called schedules. They're simply independent segments of road in which we intend to repair. Next, I'm going to talk about the Neighborhood Traffic Safety Program. As I noted a minute ago, this program is focused primarily on residential streets, and it usually is intended to address cut-through traffic, so volume of traffic that may be more than the current residential street is designed to handle. and or often the speed of that traffic also is a big concern for neighborhoods. And the reason why those are generally selected, they work 24/7, 365. They're in place, they work all the time, you don't have to do anything once they're installed, and they do have a very positive effect. When we do these installations, which we've done many, probably more so than any city in South King County, we do before studies and after studies, and our results are impressive in regards to slowing that speed down and doing some diversion about people who otherwise wouldn't go through there or would go through it without the humps or the tables, and then it makes them think about, are they really saving time, and they may get back onto the arterial. Some of the points for speed volume and collision history, as well as proximity to schools, so we take schools into account and or parks into account. The reason for that is the young children. We want to take account for that and make sure that's something that is factored in. If you reach 3 points, there's a total of 9 you can get. The bar is relatively low. Many neighborhoods have qualified in this program. And if you receive the 3 points, and then that will prompt a neighborhood meeting with the traffic division staff to come out and discuss what you perceive the problems are. We share the data that we collected, and then we work towards a consensus solution. As I said, generally speaking, that involves speed humps or speed tables. A speed table is simply alonged on the top surface a speed hump. So, and often we'll put a crosswalk on top of the speed table. They're very effective in regards to slowing speed. That concludes my presentation.
The meeting also provided an opportunity for community members to ask questions and give feedback on a variety of issues that are important to them.
I got to thinking, why would I take a neighborhood street? And the primary reason I do that, when I do, is the cameras in the school zones. When I enter those zones, I feel an immediate adversarial relationship with the city. I am a safe driver, and I've tried very hard, and I drive safe through the neighborhood too. But
I would tell you regarding our photo enforcement, particularly school zone, we would love to have no violations. The reality is there are a lot of people speeding through our school zones. Now, statistically, we don't want kids ran over. We're not going to have too many of those incidents, even if people are speeding. Nevertheless, the amount of distance you travel, whatever the speed is time and a half is in terms of distance that you travel. So we really believe that this technology has enhanced the safety of the school zones.
First of all, I wanted to congratulate the city on the investment in public works. I go into Seattle and see the streets that are in terrible shape. Potholes everywhere, not in Federal Way. So thank you for keeping that up. Second thing, I despise the red light camera. Particularly the one on 320th and Pacific Highway. If it stays there, I urge you, recalibrate the yellow on that. Eastbound in the morning, I go through there every day, and I swear that thing changes too fast. I see, because then you've got the sign just there by the Applebee's that registers the speed. I regularly see cars up to 50 miles an hour gunning to get through there. And I know the same thing. I come down there and the light is green, and I think, how long has it been green? Because the hand on the side has gone red. I'm thinking, it's going to change quickly. Enter the intersection, it's changing. Then I see the flash, I'm like, oh my God. And then 2 weeks later, ticket doesn't come, so I'm okay. If there was some warning there that says the light is about to change yellow, then I would know whether to stop or proceed through. Thank you.
That was great. I know. My wife Wendy called me the other day. I just sat down, and my wife calls me. She goes, "I'm having a really bad day." And I'm like, "What's going on?" She goes, "I think I just got a red light traffic ticket." I'm like, "Well, stop at the lights." But that's not what she wanted to hear. As far as the timing of the light, it's the second time in 1 week I've heard about the yellow. This is Carrie Rowe's department. So Carrie, talk to us about the yellow light and the timing on the yellow.
Yeah, the yellow light is not affected by the photo enforcement. So there's a default number, and my traffic engineers here can deal with the specifics, but it's independent. The photo enforcement has no connection to the timing of the green, yellow, or red aspects. They're independent systems, and so there's no connection. I know sometimes it feels like it is, but I can assure you that it's not.
Carrie, what's the cycle, like at 320th and 99? It's the second time in 1 week I've heard this about the yellow being a little fast. Okay, what is the standard there?
Rick, can you address that particular location?
You guys, this is Rick Perez. He's our senior traffic engineer and essentially almost a national expert on traffic engineering. He just spoke in the state of California on these issues. Rick?
Thank you. So most of the signals in Federal Way, the yellow time is 4 seconds. It's dependent on a formula that takes the approach speed, grades, and the distance across the intersection into account. So at 320th and 99, I'm pretty sure it's 4 seconds all the way around. I'd have to verify that. The other question was on 348th and Enchanted, and that is the case there as well. So that's typically what you're going to see. If the speeds are higher, actually the yellow time is going to be a little bit shorter because it takes less time to get across the intersection. So it all just depends, but yeah, typically 4 seconds.
Traffic issue. In some places that I've lived in the past, they've extended to prevent intersection issues, which is the biggest place where accidents happen. They've gone to an all the way around red for a couple of seconds before changing to a green. Is that something that could be initiated here that would help with the intersection traffic issues?
It's a good question. Here's Rick.
Okay, so we do use 1 second all red at the end of every phase in the city, and that's consistent with regional practice.
We have teenagers drive down and they're doing 50 miles an hour down the street. Also, I've called the non-emergency number about people parked in front, just parked. You say call. They tell me, oh, that's a public parking spot. They can park there. And I'm like, well, they're there 20 minutes. I don't know what they're doing. I'm concerned because I have a home daycare. I have children that I have to protect. And then when I call, when I call 911, I don't get a dispatch, I don't get a police officer till about 2 hours later. So I'm very concerned, and the only reason why I'm here is because I have a Tacoma police officer's child at my daycare. So he told me to bring it up.
Mission accomplished.
So I'm bringing that up, and then also we have street lights that the trees have overgrown the little street lights.
Right.
And when I call in, they say, oh, someone will be out there, but the trees are still growing over the street lights, and the street is dark.
Well, we're going to take care of that. One of the things I'm going to ask you to do is, can you touch base with Kerry Rowe, our Public Works Director, after this, and make sure he gets your contact information.
Okay.
And we're going to make sure we look at that street. He gave a presentation about the humps and what it takes to get those in regard to, but what I'd like to do is for you to connect with Kerry, make sure he gets your phone number, and then we're going to follow back up.
And I wanted to say thank you for this meeting tonight. This is really great. It's great to bring a community together like this, and I applaud your efforts for getting something rolling in the downtown. I'd love to see a pack, but we'll see what happens on that. But I want to specifically thank the police department because my neighborhood does not have a homeowners association. It's the homes are kind of spread apart, and we've had a lot of burglaries and car break-ins in our neighborhood, and I've been left alone. I have kind of a modest home, so I thought they were going to leave me alone forever. But I was burglarized, and I met with Lindsay Thoreau right afterward, and she set up a triangulation around my neighborhood and a few streets around it. And my neighbors are so happy about this Safe City program because it's helping them feel empowered. So if your neighborhood does not have an HOA, don't let that stop you. Work with Lindsay and the police department. They really care, and they really want to dampen the crime.
We would love to get either a green arrow or a flashing yellow at 21st Avenue and Southwest 344th, right by the Twin Lakes Park and Ride. The last thing about Kerry's project over here on 336, right now the traffic backs up between 21st and 19th by the post office, because those signals are set the way they are right now. They are not synchronized. So my question and hope is that the new traffic light going by Dairy Queen will be synchronized with that one a few feet away at 21st. Otherwise, you are going to have a big mess, sir. So please check that out.
What would it take to, is it possible to do the flashing green at that intersection? 344th to 21st?
Yes, it is. We put in, I don't know, in the last maybe a couple months, we put in about 6 or 7 of them. We got about 19 across the city. So the flashing yellow is a very popular installation, and we'll surely put that on the list and prioritize it with the other locations. But you'll continue to see those. They're very effective. They reduce the delay at the intersection. It takes a little judgment. It takes a little time getting used to, but I think they're effective, and I think you'll see more of them. So we'll definitely add that location to the list.
The light down here at Brigadoon, which is 340th and 21st Southwest, I realize most of the traffic goes east and west on there, but is there any way to switch that to actuated when there's slow periods? Because it's still a real long light for the north and south traffic to come through.
Carrier Rick? Go ahead, Rick.
Okay, so right now, every signal in Federal Way is actuated. It just doesn't always seem that way, and that's primarily because in those time periods it's running in coordination. And the way coordination works is you've got to have a common cycle length between the different traffic signals. And so at a particular intersection, the cycle may seem longer than it needs to at that particular intersection, but that's because a more congested intersection in the corridor needs that longer cycle length. So it seems like there's some dead time going on, but that's intended to keep them coordinated. Now, without getting into specifics, we run anywhere up to 7 different timing plans a week. And so depending on which intersection, they go on and off by time of day, they change by time of day. So I can't get into the specifics of every signal just off the cuff like this, but if you want to contact me, then I can address more specifically your specific concern.
Anyway, I almost hate to complain about anything in the face of everything that you guys are doing for us. I really appreciate this meeting, the chief and the rest of the council and the mayor coming out and really just coming out and connecting with the community. This is really an awesome thing. But on the traffic light subject, I'm an early commuter. I leave town or I leave the house at 6 o'clock, so I'm going down 320th at just before 6:30 most mornings. And the work that's been going on with the new Wings place there, that signal right there is absolutely in conflict with the 99 light. There's absolutely no way to make that light. And I'd also like to say that might be just one of those intersections that the lights aren't synchronized right now, and they are not censored, because we'll get up to that light, we'll stop for that light, and we'll watch every single direction turn green, including the left-hand turn lights where there's absolutely no traffic, and it happens every single morning. So I'm sure that's on the plate for something to be fixed soon, because I'm not sure that intersection's completely fixed yet, or the work there isn't complete. But please hurry.
Rick is now going to host this meeting.
Okay, the answer to that one, and we have had a lot of calls on that. The problem we've got right now is the new equipment was delivered for the new traffic signal, and there was a malfunction. The replacement parts are on back order. So that particular manufacturer, it's actually the pedestrian push buttons are creating the malfunction there. And yeah, so as soon as we get them, we're well aware, and we're waiting for that delivery, and the day they come in, I'm sure we'll get them in, because the signal techs are tired of answering the calls about that too.
But thanks for bringing it up. I mean, that's the kind of important feedback that we really need. He's going to connect with you and get your phone number and address and make sure that we've got all that information.
Thanks for joining us at Brigadoon Elementary School for tonight's Neighborhood Connection meeting. We'll see you next time on New Day Federal Way.